So one of the most interesting things about this Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns Wrestlemania feud, at least in my opinion, is that it honestly does feel like either one of these guys could believably win this match. And I love that sort of booking. I'm really excited that Triple H has managed to book a feud between two guys that feel equal in the sense of like either one of them winning would make sense. But today I want to talk about why I think Roman Reigns could and should retain his title at WrestleMania. My main reason for feeling this way, and I want to talk about Cody making sense as well, but that'll be separate. But in terms of Roman, to me, it feels like the bloodline should end with, or should have ended with Sammy and Roman in Montreal, which didn't happen, or it should end with Jay and Roman. And Cody just, has felt to me like sort of, not even, it's not his fault. It's not his fault he got hurt, but it just feels like he's not, I don't know. I don't want to say he doesn't deserve it because he does deserve it in the sense of like he's really hustled, worked hard to get back to WWE, to be a main eventer, everything that he's done, starting AEW, all that. But it just doesn't feel like the right time. And I think that like there is still more, even though multiple times I felt like for sure time to end the bloodline, like the bloodline stuff is over, let's wrap it up. And then they would throw in like another interesting little bloodline wrinkle and I'd be back in. I'd be like, no, you know what, like let's keep this going, let's see like what else they can do with this story, because it just keeps adding layer after layer after layer. And I kind of am now at the point of like either Sammy should have beaten Roman or Jay should beat Roman, although can't really see Jay becoming the Universal Champion. And the thing that had crossed my mind a while ago was like maybe Roman should just retire as champion, as such a dominant champion. I think honestly Roman Reigns is like approaching one of, if not the greatest WWE champion of all time. Just in terms of like his storylines and his acting and everything he's accomplished. I don't necessarily know if anyone should beat him. And to me, it doesn't feel like Cody should. It feels like there's an argument you could make where Cody should lose because that would make people want to see him win the belt even more. Even though I think that the vast majority of WWE fans are excited for Cody. They want him to win. But I think Roman could use one final dominant pin, one final challenger that he puts aside and solidifies himself as the greatest WWE champion of all time, hits the 1,000-day mark. I mean, I feel like there is a lot of value in keeping the belt on Roman. And I think there's a lot of value in keeping the bloodline stuff going. And I just don't know if, and I know that there's like rumors that they have plans for the next year, but I think that there's a big difference between the bloodline stuff with Roman as the champion, as truly the head of the table, and without him. And I just think there's still mileage with the bloodline and Roman at the head of the table. And I think especially now that you've got Jay and Jimmy kind of sort of back in line, I don't know if this is the time to end it. Like, again, at Elimination Chamber, in my opinion, that's when they should have done it. If they were going to take the belt off of him, that's when they should have done it. Everything lined up. The bloodline had cracks. It was crumbling. And it just felt like it was the right time. And Sammy, in my opinion, was the right guy. I don't know if Cody is... I think he's maybe the right guy at the wrong time. And I guess Sammy was also the right guy at the wrong time, or the wrong guy. I don't know, depending on what your opinion is of the Sami Zayn run. But I just think that Roman has been such a dominant champion, and Cody hasn't really done much since he came back to WWE. He got hurt, and then he won the Rumble at number 30, and then, he's kind of been doing what he did in AEW, actually, which is like beating a lot of younger talent, although in WWE it's working, I guess, because nobody cares about some of these guys. You beat Fabian Eichner. It's like, yeah, in AEW, people would be like, hey, man, what the hell? You're like pinning this guy. You should be putting him over. In WWE, they're like, we don't care about this, like, Walter's henchman, whatever. So, I don't know. It just, to me, doesn't feel like Cody. It almost feels like Cody could use a loss. He could use a loss to really have to climb the mountain. It doesn't feel like since he came back, he's really had to do much, to grind much. It sort of feels like everything's been telegraphed right up to, like, just sort of handing him the title. He hasn't even really had much of a grind on the road to WrestleMania. It's not like this has been a brutal rivalry between Cody and Roman, and Cody's had to scratch and claw his way. It's sort of like Cody is, if anything, has been presented as the guy who's gonna win because he's Cody Rhodes. And I don't know. It just feels like there is some more mileage with Roman. Whether or not he takes time off, it's like Roman was barely around as it is. Like, he's on the TV shows once in a while. He only does the big pay-per-views. Like, him taking time off, he could take off 2 months. They don't have another big show until, like, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam. Like, you could give Roman a bunch of time off. So I don't really see that as a reason to take the belt off of him. And, look, selfishly, I'm a fan of the Bloodline. I love the Bloodline stuff. I don't want to see it end. And I'm making an argument that Roman Reigns could realistically retain his belt at this year's WrestleMania.